Tonight, I want to ask you some questions. Do you pay the fine when your neighbor jumps a red light? Do you pay the repair bill when someone in your colony crashes their car? Do you pay late fees for a stranger's child? I know you don't, but I'm asking you these questions because I have another question. If you don't pay for other people's negligence or mistakes, why are you paying for China's cover-up? You, me, all of us. We are all paying an exorbitant amount of money for China's pandemic. Do you know the cost of the Wuhan virus? More than $8 trillion. That's the kind of money the global economy will lose to the virus, and this is a conservative estimate. Another one pegs the losses at $15 trillion. 15 trillion, 13 zeros. But I don't want to focus on this number alone today. The cost of the Wuhan virus is much more than economic. Those who have recovered have damaged organs and continuing symptoms. Their families have been pushed into poverty and their countries are struggling to cope. So tonight we'll break down the cost for you. What the virus from China costs your body, your family, and your country. Let's start with the impact on your body. Close to 28 million people have recovered. 28 million have recovered. That only means they've not died because the virus ravages your body. A new study by Oxford has some horrific findings. It says even after patients have quote-unquote recovered, 60% show lung problems, 60. 29% have kidney problems, 10% have issues in the liver. So do you ever fully recover? This particular study tracked more than 50 patients who were discharged from hospital. Months after the first diagnosis, they experienced symptoms like fatigue, breathlessness, depression, even anxiety. The symptoms continued for 2 to 3 months after they first tested positive. These findings fit a pattern. The world over, researchers are now talking about the long COVID, meaning the long-term impact of the Wuhan virus on patients. In the month of May, an American news outlet reported some serious long-term symptoms. It said the virus damages the body in many ways. It can attack the heart, weakening its muscles and disrupting its critical rhythm. It can reach the kidneys. It can infect the cells. The virus can affect a body's nervous system, leading to the loss of taste and smell. It can cause blood clots. This virus can cause inflammation of blood vessels. Basically, the Wuhan virus has the potential to strike any part of the human body, from the brain to the toes. And if people recover, their families often do not. Treatment for virus is crippling families with debt. The cost is very high. Most Indians cannot afford the treatment, even when governments have set a limit on how much you'll be charged. Let me give you some numbers. For the majority of India, average monthly expenditure for one person is less than 5,000 rupees. For a family of 5, that's around 25,000 rupees, a little more than $340. Now, in a city like Delhi, the lowest priced isolation bed in a non-accredited hospital would cost 80,000 rupees for 10 days. That is more than $1,000. So how can a family that spends barely $340 a month afford a bed that costs more than $1,000? And this, by the way, is the reality for 80% of Indian families. The cost of treatment could financially cripple 80% of India's families. They have two options. Do not go for treatment, or take loans to pay hospital bills. The longer the treatment, the bigger the bill, the heavier the burden of debt. What about health insurance? I'll get to that in just a bit. But I want to focus on the cost right now. And this story, by the way, is not unique to India. Families across the world are struggling to pay, especially with job losses and reduced earnings. Countries across the world are counting losses. The International Monetary Fund says the total loss in economic output stands at $9 trillion. More than half of the world's workers are worried about losing their jobs. A survey was published by the World Economic Forum this month. It says 54% of working adults fear for their jobs in the next 12 months. 27 countries are part of this survey. In Russia, 75% respondents are worried about losing their job. In Spain, 73%. In Malaysia, 71%. In India, 54% said they fear they'll lose their job. Why are all the people all over the world suffering? Whose fault are they paying for? The cost of COVID is very high. China made this mistake, and all of us are footing this bill because the world is failing to make China pay. And the pain is not over. The pandemic is not over. A second wave and a second round of lockdowns is not a theory anymore. It is happening as we speak. Thank you for watching Gravitas on WION's YouTube channel. If you want to stay up to date with what's happening around the world, then subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like and share. Thank you very much for watching WION. World is One.